Hey, good afternoon, guys. This is Jin Gao. I'm the vice chairman here at VBit Technologies. I'm with my buddy over here, of course, Jason.
Good
In
afternoon,
another
everyone.
office. All right, and of course we have James over there in California. How you doing, James?
I am doing well. I am doing very well. It's great to be here in these trying times, hanging out with you guys, talking Bitcoin, talking VBit.
That's what's up. Yes, and I know that this coronavirus thing is really doing a lot, really changing our lives. And it's crazy right now in the U.S. We almost hit 250,000. There's
Wow.
over 240,000 confirmed cases in the U.S. Right, with New York, of course, leading the way with 92,000, and right next to New York, New Jersey has 25, almost 26,000. But you know what's the scary part for us? I mean, it really hits home because those two states, we are in Pennsylvania. So what does that mean, Jason?
They're right next to us. They're our neighbors.
We're touching both states.
That's right.
So we're the epicenter, pretty much. Well, we're right next to the epicenter, which is New York, and I hope everyone is taking this very seriously. All right, we are. That's why Jason's actually. We're no longer doing our podcast together. Jason's in a separate room, and of course I'm here. And James in a separate state. Okay, so we're gonna totally do some social distancing with James.
Right. I totally agree, Jen. I think it's extremely important that we all do our part. Right. It's actually the easiest way to become a hero. In fact, if you stay home, you save life. That's how easy it is. So I think all of us can do it. We just have to stick to it, and things will slowly get back to normal. But if we don't do our part, it's just going to prolong this agonies and this pandemic for longer for everybody. So please do our parts and do your parts.
Right. Thank you. And I think, obviously the real heroes are the first responders, right? You got the nurse, you got the doctors, the people that work in the front line. Okay, those are the real heroes. But the new hero, Jason, the new hero, I like this line. So I heard this line. Also for us, the heroes, now zeros are heroes. Okay, so that's the new line. What that means is zero. That means zero contact with other people, zero infection for yourself. So if you don't get infected, if you have zero infection, you are the new hero. Right? So we all practice that, and we being zeros in terms of being infected, then we're gonna be the new hero, guys. So
kind of a grim milestone right here. The world just hit 1 million cases moments ago.
Wow.
I saw that. It just came through my my news feed. Holy cow! 1,002,159. Jeez.
Wow. And unfortunately, the U.S. accounts for almost a quarter of that. Right. So I think one big reason is because I think the U.S. we have a lot of liberties and we have a lot of freedoms, and which is great, and that's what everyone loves about this country is freedom. But on the second hand, we have to think about our safety and also other people's safety. And I think that's one of the reasons why, of course, our population, we have over 300 million people. And so we are one of the largest country in the world. With that being said, we have to do our part to control, to really flatten this curve, right? And being out there, and yes, you have to go out there and go shopping. Just the other day, I went shopping yesterday. We never buy so much food. I only have 3 people in my household, just my wife, my son, and myself. So when we buy stuff, we usually buy a quarter of a cart. It's never full. But yesterday we bought a whole bunch of food, almost a full cart. Right? It's because we want to buy it for 2-3 weeks at a time, and we don't want to go out every week or every few days, right? So that's a total change for us on our shopping habits, right? So what about you guys? What have you guys been doing?
Well, Jen, that is actually a great thing that you're practicing because, by doing that, you're limiting yourself, from going out there so you can, have less of a contact. So, we're doing the same thing. We actually have 3 refrigerators in our house. For those of you that do not know me, I mean, I'm married with 4 kids, and my mother also lived with me. So we have a total of 7 people in my household. So they do go through a lot of food, and especially milk every day. So we have 3 refrigerators, and they're all fully stocked. So we're trying to limit ourselves from going out. My kids haven't been out actually for over 2 weeks now. So I'm extremely proud of them. Um, they just hang around in the house. I actually, right before this, government mandated stay-at-home order, I order one of those punch bags, just so that they can get their energies out. Because our house is not very big. Our house is actually kind of small. We live in the city, so they need to
Right.
get their energies out. So that punching bag actually comes in pretty handy. I'll tell you that.
Okay. Right. Well, James, what's going on in California, the Bay Area?
So California is a little more spread than New York. New York, we have a lot of friends. I'm from New York as well, so people that live in Queens that are really feeling the brunt of all this. For friends that work in healthcare and stuff, and as you know, just the nature of New York. It's the socially distanced in New York. Just it's very almost impossible to do. So when they do go out and make grocery trips, they can only buy 1 or 2 things because they have to carry it up to their apartment. They have roommates, and so here in California, it's a little bit more spread out. But we've been making an effort to go pick up lots of water, toilet paper, paper towels, everything that you can. Now, while stuff is still there, and just plan a few weeks out because you never know. Because things they are predicting right now, Tony Fauci, the virologist who you've seen a lot on the task force, has been predicting that we're going to see a real ramp up here as we get closer to Easter, which is April 11th. I think the conservative estimates, even including all the mitigation that has been happening and all the social distancing, still puts U.S. at about 1 million to 1.6 million cases by Easter. So things are going to really start to ramp up. So definitely, while it's still a relatively small number of cases, go and plan a few weeks ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of people are saying things will get worse before it gets better, and I think most of us believe that it will get worse before it gets better. Right. And the other day we were talking about how actually Jason and Don ordered some face masks. We ordered actually like about 10,000 face masks, and working on once it gets here, we want to donate to the local hospital and local police stations over here. And then the next day we wanted to order some more. We got a lot of good feedbacks from our members. So the next day I tried to order some more actually, and they're all sold out. Right, so I call the company to order them. So there's you can no longer order online. So I actually called them, and they told me that it's all sold out, and it's the waiting time. So it's on back order, and I won't get mine. If I put my order in now, I won't get mine to 16 weeks later. Right, 4 months. So it takes. So I put an order in anyway. Hopefully we won't need it in 4 months. But I put an order in just for in case. If we do, then I have some face masks. All right. So good job on you, Jason and Don, that you guys order some, and hopefully they say it'll come in 2 weeks. So hopefully it'll get here next week or the week after.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, the date is supposed to be April 14th, so we're looking forward to it. And as soon as it gets here, we'll give everyone the updates as to what and how we're going to be able to distribute them to the first responders and the frontline heroes that are truly in this pandemic, that are fighting the fight for us. So for us to help them out, like I said, we can donate resources, we can donate materials, but the best thing is to stay at home, right? That's really, by staying at home, we're really helping our frontline heroes, to fight this battle for us.
All right. So the best thing is to be at 0, right?
That's right.
The new 0 is the hero. So
Yep.
Don't just stay safe. All right, guys. Anything you guys want to add in before we segue to of course our favorite topics, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and our company?
The one thing I would say, just wanted to chime in, is there are still ways to get exercise at home, and COVID-19 people would equate it to the flu. A better comparison would be pneumonia, and it's a respiratory type of disease. So
Mhm.
one of the best things you can do is to keep your lungs and respiratory system in good shape. And in this situation, we're eating more and moving less because a lot of us have
Mm.
stockpiles of food at our house now. We're not able to go to the gym. Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, all this stuff is closed down. So if you think about it, exercise is going to boost your immune system, and it's going to make your respiratory system, your lungs and stuff, stronger, so that if you do unfortunately get it, you're going to be in the best possible position to defeat the disease. So just a quick posture check for anybody watching right now. Be sure to move around.
All right. Good point, James. I actually what I've been doing, and I've been, of course, we've been home a lot more, and with my son, and he's 7 years old. He jumps around, jumps on the sofa, jumps pretty much anywhere and everywhere. And we've been doing pillow fights. All right, so actually, that's a really good workout. So play with your kids, all right, get active with them, and that's something that I haven't done for a long time. And the positive of this thing, of this quarantine and lockdown, is you get to spend more time with your family, with your kids, your wife, right? With the sometimes, of course, it's a true test to your marriage, actually. And so far we've been good. So far so good. So knock on wood, right? Right. And Jason, you have four, so you have a lot more exercise to do.
Well, that's why I got the punching bag for them. So they're that's what they're doing.
All right.
It's actually
So
a lot.
just okay. So let's just segue to a little some very good updates from the company. All right. I don't want to talk too much about it. So you guys get online on Tuesday. We have every Tuesday, of course, we have our company update. We have a company training at 7:30 at night on Tuesdays. Just a couple very important ones. Of course, we just launched our new website. The new website looks great. We have a new packages that came out actually that has about 20% more hash power. Right. So just think about it. Yes, the Bitcoin price came down a bit, right, from the high of like 10,000 and went down to all the way to about what 4,000. All right.
3,800. Yep.
Right, to below 4,000. But the good thing, yes, now it popped back up, and today we'll talk a little bit about how what a good surge it was today. But during that time, the what happened was when the price came down, the mine difficulty, of course, came down. So we were mining 20% more Bitcoin since the drop, and now we add in 20% more hash power to it. Okay, so that's a good thing. So that's why I was saying mining it's pretty good, right? It drops, you mine more, and now you get more hash power. So it's a good thing. Another thing we have is the self-directed auto rebuy. So you can do an auto rebuy, but you have to initiate it yourself. So we're going to talk all about that. We have some great things to talk about. So on Tuesday, we're going to talk more about that. So join us on Tuesday at 7:30, and we'll go over all those new packages again, and also the new auto rebuy that we'll be having, right? So speaking of the price, and so what do you guys think of today? Today, Bitcoin price went up all the way to 7,300, right? Before it came down a little bit, all right? So what are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll share my thought first. I mean, I was not paying too much attention actually until it actually already got to like maybe 6,800 or so. And then I just see the price, steadily going up and up and up and all the way up to like touching around 7,300. Two comments on that, right? My heart was pumping so rapidly as I see it go up, steadily and actually in such a short time. But at the same time, I mean, if I am a day trader or anything close to that, I'll probably be very scared, right? Excited, but very scared at the same time. So I'm just so glad that I'm not a day trader. I'm just focusing on the mining side of the equation. So it goes up to 7,300. That means the Bitcoins that I mine today just went up in values, right? But if it drops down to now, I think it's about 6,700 now. I'm not sweating it because I know I'm holding on to the Bitcoins for the long run. So
Yeah, I'm just looking at my chart over here. Yeah, it's the 1-day chart. The lowest for the day was 63.57.
wow.
Yep, and then of course went all the way up to 72.92. James, do you have today? Can you pull up today's chart for Bitcoin?
Sure thing. Just give me a second.
Yeah, see if you can take a look at that. All right. So yeah, this morning, yeah, when we looked at it, it's in the low 6,000s, and then it steadily kept on going up. Right, every time, every 10 minutes when I looked at it, it goes up. Now, here's one of the big reasons why it went up. Of course, why it went down so much in the beginning, right? Why it went down to 3,800? Why that sharp drop? Well, of course, that's when we first look at it or took this coronavirus very seriously. When we take it seriously and really realize how bad the situation is, there was of course a stock market drop. Everything just dropped. Right, and one of the reasons why Bitcoin dropped so much is the liquidity crunch. What that means is a lot of people that are buying stocks on a margin, or buying their equities in margin. When it drops, the margin cost, which means they would have to sell. They would have to pump in money, basically. All right, so they have to sell whatever they have to pump in money. They have to sell stocks, sell gold, sell Bitcoin included. Right, so that's during that time why it dropped so much. Now today, it's a little bit of the opposite. One of the articles I read today was one. It's somewhat a little bit of the opposite. So people were longing Bitcoin, right? So a lot of people are buying Bitcoin and longing. They are thinking Bitcoin will go up. But however, there are still a lot of people that were shorting Bitcoin, right? So there were a lot of people short Bitcoin, and what that does when people short Bitcoin and there are other people thinking Bitcoin will go up, and Bitcoin is eventually has been creeping up. So when the Bitcoin price is starting to go up, now the opposite happens. Right? That's why it spike up so quickly. The opposite happens in terms of these day traders or these people that short Bitcoin, buying futures, they're shorting Bitcoin, they have to cover their positions. That means they have to buy Bitcoin, right? So you have, if Bitcoin starts going up, all these people buying Bitcoin again to cover their position. And that's why you see a quick spike, right? And a quick spike, and then it came down a bit after that really quick spike. All right. But what's so good about us? Yes, there are a lot of people like us. We are bullish on Bitcoin, and we just like to hold. I'm not a trader, like Jason, like you were saying earlier. I don't get too excited or too scared. I'm happy when it's steady go up, but I don't get too scared, or I don't get a heart attack. All right. So yeah. So how about you?
So I was just doing a quick calculation, Jen. Today I mined about 0.021884 units of Bitcoins, right? And when the price spiked up to $7,300, it was worth about $159. When over now it's at about $6,800, it's worth about $150. So $9-10 of a difference, it doesn't really make a much of a financial impact on my life. But I'm just happy that I'm mining Bitcoins every day and mining $150 worth on average, right? And based on today's price. So just happy overall, when there's so many people out there that don't have a job or don't have an income or don't have a paycheck. We're fortunate enough to be receiving that on a daily basis. So it's a blessing.
I think there was a news report that came out yesterday that 6 million people have filed for unemployment insurance in the States now, as of yesterday, which is just unprecedented.
Yeah, James, a good point. When they first opened when they first had that market crash, they were saying, hey, people actually file for unemployment at a record pace, and that one day or 2 days it was at 3.5 million. So now it pretty much almost doubled. So that's, and I think there's going to be more to come as this thing drags on. So, we really need to think of an alternative, on what we're going to do, right? And if this thing does linger on for beyond end of April, which I personally think is going to be longer than that. So we really need to have a good solid plan. Also, speaking of the Bitcoins, Jin, there was an article coming out from Cointelegraph, I believe, earlier or yesterday, that talks about retail investors who have been steadily going back into Bitcoin, buying more Bitcoins. They've been buying, on average, 60% more. So their purchase size is 60% more than before. So that goes to tell you and validate the saying that you've been saying for a long time, that Bitcoin is on sale, which I do believe that Bitcoin is on sale. And I do see the long-term upward trend in this particular market. So, in my personal
Curious to get you guys' thoughts on this too, with the whole CARES Act in place now, that new legislation being passed on the 28th of March. And there's a whole part of it that talks about mortgages, and that if you have a federally backed mortgage, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, you can basically get this forbearance period of 180 days. You can continue to extend it past 180 days. But, so my wife works in commercial real estate and affordable housing and stuff. And if a lot of people are just not going to pay their mortgage or go into forbearance, or if people are trying to refi their homes, and there's this huge push where banks are taking a big L here, a part of me thinks that maybe your money is more, potentially more secure in something like Bitcoin or something, as opposed to oftentimes when these banks get overwhelmed like this, your money may not be all that safe, and it's kind of refreshing that you can hedge against that with Bitcoin.
Right, and I think that's why we had like the article from actually, Jason, I think that came from Coinbase. Coinbase reported.
Yeah, the data came from Coinbase, correct?
Right, they reported there were 60 more percent people buying Bitcoin and holding on to it, right? And I think that's why we've been seeing that gradual increase in value in Bitcoin for Bitcoin, right? And today's the stock market, how we doing in the stock market? Stock market Dow Jones went up 2.25%, right? But Bitcoin went up 10%, right? And went up 2.75% against the U.S. dollar. But I think today's, let me see today's Bitcoin. The one-day increase is 7.18%. So Bitcoin is definitely outpacing the stock market, right? And James, like we were saying, with over 6 million unemployment people that file for unemployment, right? And what's going on with the everyone is getting locked down with the economy. It's gonna be hard for the stock market. Right? We don't know what's going to happen. Right? That's why if you don't have another investment, you don't have another put your money somewhere else, or at least having it somewhere that can outperform the market, right? If you don't, you really doing a disservice to yourself. And we are very bullish on what Bitcoin. I really believe Bitcoin is going to continue to go up, and it'll do well by end of the year. Okay. And also we also see a lot of interest, not only from from the LibreCoin, from Facebook, right? From not only from companies, but from other countries. Well, first we talked about China. I think China talked about it a while back. They talked about, actually, I think last year or 2018, they start talking about having their own digital currency, right? And then of course you have now the U.S. was just talking about it, right? The U.S. was I believe the Democrat was trying to put the digital currency bill into the stimulus package, but it didn't. That part did not get passed. So the U.S. are looking into it, and I just read an article now. France, they are looking into digitalizing the euro. Okay, so you have all these more and more countries that are really looking into how to make digital currency work for them. Okay, which means if they do, if one of them does happen, and I know with all these interests that are coming, I feel pretty confident that it's going to happen. One of these countries is going to make the first move, and once one of these countries make that move, it's going to have a cascade effect. Right, one country start having it, a lot of the countries start coming on board. Okay, and start having that digital currency. And once that happens, it will make Bitcoin definitely get a mass adoption a lot quicker than what we have been facing in the last 10 years. Okay, so that's why I'm so excited about where Bitcoin is going to head. All right.
Well, I think it's a very good point, right? I mean, I think, for the last 10 years, what has really kind of prevent the mass market adoption is because of this, unknown, technologies that are behind Bitcoins. And when there's so many people out there that are just not interested in technologies at all, right? And let alone trying to get into something like Bitcoin that is very difficult to understand to begin with. So, and I think if any sovereign government bodies start to issue digital currency or make their currency digitize their currency, it's going to make more everyday folks more comfortable about digital currency. And once they start having that as kind of like taking that baby step, oh yeah, they're going to feel more comfortable in exploring Bitcoins.
Absolutely.
Bitcoin is really the mother of all coins, in my personal opinion. And I think that's going to really have that, cascading effect, like Jen was saying, that's going to help increase the mass adoptions worldwide.
I forgot one of you mentioned it was the first time I had heard of it. It was very, very interesting. I'd never heard that before in my whole life. You're saying that in China, people actually don't even use credit cards anymore. They're just scanning their phone.
That's right.
Which has made it so big brain. Here in the States, we're still using cards and stuff, but I have noticed if you go to drive-thrus now here in California, at least, you're gonna go pick up some Mickey D's, get some nuggets, something like that. They don't take your card anymore. They will pick up the little reader and they'll push it out the window for you, so you can just slide the card right into the slot itself. Mm-hmm. Even something as small as that, something is happening in the air, right? Like people are starting to realize this is not that sanitary to touch cards. Maybe that becomes a standard practice moving forward. Maybe people start to get more woke to the idea, hey, digital currency is kind of better. It's putting us less at risk, let alone the paper money. Have any of you guys used any paper money during the pandemic? Definitely not over here.
I'll tell you what happened, for the last couple of weeks, I'm married with 4 kids, right? So I only carry around $20 in my pocket. And that same $20 is still in my pocket. I haven't touched it. I've been using more Apple Pays than I ever imagined before. Every time that I get an opportunity to use Apple Pay, I opt to use Apple Pay, and because it's just a lot cleaner. I don't have to touch their machine. They don't have to touch my cards, and we don't have to touch each other. And it just makes me feel, that a lot more protected.
Right. I know. I just ordered. I helped Nixon order something online for him, and then he gave me some cash today. I said, no, I don't want to touch cash. I don't even want cash. I want him to sell it to me, or gave me Bitcoin. Preferably, gave me Bitcoin. But yes, that's especially situations like this during this pandemic. Yes, cash is hazardous. Also, when we were actually, Jason, you were sharing the story where you were in Vietnam, right? And this is, I think, 2 years ago, you were back in Vietnam, or 3 years ago with your father-in-law, okay, or how people conduct finances, how people conduct loans, all right? You were sharing that, see, a lot of these rural, especially rural areas and third world countries, there is no banks. There is no nice, clean banks, with all these glass and everything all fancy, a computer and everything is all cool. You go there, it's all nice and AC. A lot of these places simply don't have banks like that, and they don't have a banking structure like we do. Right? So billions of people don't have access to it. All right, and how they deal with money or get into the financial system is actually people sitting in kind of like a takeout, a outside eating area, outside restaurant, right? You were saying, Jason?
That's right. They actually, it's a bunch of ladies and guys that are hanging around at a corner. Actually, if you don't know the culture, you would think that these might be drug dealers, right? But they're not. They are just people that are in the finance business, that are helping the local merchants or local people to try to send and receive money, because there is no banks like the way we have it out over here, where there's probably one at every corner if you go to the Center City area. There is nothing like that over there. So it makes transferring or sending money very, very difficult, and the fees are very, very high, and you don't even know sometimes if you can't trust them, right? So we are very fortunate to have the network that we have, but Bitcoin is gonna truly change the dynamics, and there's gonna be a big paradigm shift, because now if they have a cell phone, they can do these transactions themselves. They don't need any helps, and greatly reduces the fees, and the trusting factor is non-issue.
This whole coronavirus might have accelerated, the transition into digital currency only by maybe 5 years. We'll never know, right? But the more and more you think about it, the more and more you realize how vast and far-reaching every single industry, every single aspect of your just day-to-day life gets affected by this pandemic. Like stuff where we're thinking about things we've never thought about before, and even right now, like let's say the U.S. needs lots of N95 masks, they need ventilators, they need supplies. Now they need to go pay China or someone to go get these supplies ASAP, and they're in this bidding war with other countries. They're bidding against France, they're bidding against Spain and Italy. Everyone's scrambling, trying to pick up all these supplies. Now, if you're going to just use regular fiat currency and you have to wait for that to go through a bank and a clearinghouse, that's so much slower, and it's literally a matter of life and death here. Like something like Bitcoin or a digital decentralized type of thing, it's almost instantaneous, right? And you can pay them and just get moving faster. Just everything that you think of, you can see advantages for Bitcoin, crypto, decentralized currencies, all this.
All right. So and I think you're right. That's why obviously we cannot wait until this thing is over, right? I can't wait. Everybody cannot wait until this coronavirus thing starting to go down, and we can continue our normal day life again. Yeah. And also, I'm excited to see where Bitcoin's going to be, and where Bitcoin's going to be after this chaos, right? But I can tell you, I think the stock market is going to take a big hit. Right? A lot of people is thinking recession is definitely going to come. Right? We're definitely going to have a recession, right? And now we don't. And the problem is we don't know where the end is. We don't know when this coronavirus is over, right?
How has real estate been affected, guys? I know you guys have a real estate background. People always say real estate is a safe haven. Real estate, you never lose in real estate. It's impossible to lose in real estate. But this is kind of a unique situation. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that?
And real estate, and most of the time, I think they're right. Most of the time, you hardly see real estate values go down, right? Other than one. I've been doing it for over 15 years. The only time that I see the value went down was during the Great Recession. That was the only time, obviously. Right? And now, is this going to be another Great Recession or even worse? Most likely. And I think if that happens, yes, right? Because you have like you were saying earlier, James, on you have the mortgage forbearance. Yes, can they help? Of course it helps, right? But it's only for so long. You forbearance, they're not paying for, let's say, 6 months to 12 months, but it has to come from somewhere. Right? If they're not paying the mortgage, what the bank's gonna do? How about the people servicing the bank, the servicers? Right? If the money doesn't go in, where does it go? Where do these banks go? Right? Just like for us, right? Even if we don't have to pay even if we don't have to pay a mortgage, we still have to pay our real estate tax. Especially commercial properties. Commercial property, I don't know how much forbearance we get, or how or if we get any breaks at all, if any. But you still have to think about your maintenance, your real estate tax, right? And the UNO tax. The taxes just for my building on Washington Avenue in Philadelphia. The real estate tax is over $10,000 a year, combined with what they call a UNO tax, user and occupancy tax. A user and occupancy tax is another 10,000. So you're looking at $20,000 a year real estate. I mean, tax. So I'm paying roughly about $2,000 a month, even if I don't pay any mortgage, right? What about maintaining it? My AC just broke, and I got it fixed. I got another bill for $2,500. What about maintaining it? Real estate tax, UNO tax, all those stuff. Not even talking about mortgage yet, right? And if my tenant, yes, you're right. My tenant they're probably doing 10% of the business of what they used to do. Okay, so if they're not gonna pay me, and even I don't pay the bank, even if I get a break from the mortgage company, there's still a lot of money I gotta fork out. Okay, so how well funded are these investors or these real estate holders, these real estate owners? How well funded they are? If they're not well funded, man, they're gonna be in trouble. They're gonna start selling. They're gonna start even after a year. After a year, they still won't be able to pay the mortgage. Okay, all these things add up, and it's not like I'm not sure about the interest, right? Even if we don't have to pay, let's say for a year, but the interest and everything get tagged on to the time after the forbearance, right? Am I right, James?
It says no additional interest other than the ones originally in the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not allowed to charge you extra, but you are adding, money to the principal balance. So your net worth is going down. You're basically getting like negative equity in that property, and it's really weird to think about like how the math all shakes out, because the money's got to come from somewhere, right? If someone's not paying. And
Right.
Is it all just unsustainable? Is it going to fall over like a house of cards? I don't even know. I haven't lived long enough to see anything like that happen, but it'll be interesting.
Well, James, I mean, just to kind of add on to the point, right? The money, like Jin said, the money has to come from somewhere, and I think that's the reason why the stimulus bill allows small business owner to apply for SBA loan, and part of those loan will be forgiven if they don't lay off their workforce, right? So essentially, they want you to keep your business going. And this cascading effect. If the business start to close down, small businesses start to close down, landlords going to suffer. Commercial, real estate landlords are going to suffer. Then things are just going to go, bad, really, really quickly from there. And people are going to defaulting on their loan. Banks going to have to foreclose on their buildings, and that's going to have a downward pressure on the commercial values of those buildings. So we don't want that to happen, obviously. I mean, so I'm really hoping that things can start getting back to normal slowly in the next 3 to 6 months.
The interesting thing, though, is Bitcoin is immune to all this, though, right? I mean, I'm not the subject matter expert here on Bitcoin, but I would imagine because it's decentralized, because it's deflationary, that if you have some holdings in Bitcoin, everything can collapse around you, and the Bitcoin will still stay exactly the same.
Yeah, Bitcoin, it is deflationary, Okay, so as the dollar, as you have $2.2 trillion being infused into the economy, right? Of course, your dollar now is not gonna worth as, or your dollar next year after that $2.2 trillion infused is not gonna worth the same dollar right now, right? But the Bitcoin, it's nobody's putting more. There's only 21 million Bitcoins ever, right? There'll be only 21 million Bitcoins. After that, there's no more. Okay, right now it's about 18, 19 million Bitcoins right now. So it's still a few more million to come out, but that's it. There's no more supply. So that's why, and that's why people are saying Bitcoin is more deflationary, right? Was kind of like a hedging against your dollars or the stock market, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens after this chaos is over. We have a better picture of.
Do you think it would be a good time to buy? Sorry to derail if it is derailing, but like if this was like a 2010 or subprime, whenever that happened, 2008, I think the subprime mortgage crisis. Who won in that situation? Was it the people buying, selling properties back then?
Definitely the buyers. Yeah, the during that time when banks are foreclosing properties, actually we picked up quite a few properties. Right, and if you have money and if you're not scared, and you have enough money in terms of the problem at that time is, even though Jason and I had some money, you're always afraid of, is it going to get worse, right? Do I need to hold on to some money just for the in case money, emergency, even though usually we have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund. But during a period like that, you probably want like a year of emergency fund, right? Mm-hmm. But definitely, at that time, if we were brave enough to buy even more, yes, we would have made out very well, right? What about you? What are your thoughts, Jason?
I totally agree. I mean, opportunities, and wealth are made a lot of time during these periods. Unfortunately, just like when Bitcoins actually fell to $3,800, how many of us were tempted to buy, but at the same time, we're thinking in the back of our mind that, ooh, is it going to drop some more? Is that going to be actually? Is it going to be gone? Is it going to drop to zero? Right? So it all depends on how savvy you are and how comfortable you are with your own risk tolerance. And I'm going to circle back. I'm so glad that I'm actually in the mining, because when it drops to 38, mm-hmm. I mine some Bitcoins at those prices. Right. So which means my dollar cost averagings are I have some, at 3,800, and I have some at $7,300 today. So, I feel really comfortable with the way that I allocated my funds. And obviously I would never tell you guys to put everything into just one industry or one basket or one type of, vehicles. Spread them out, right? Be smart about it. Spread mm-hmm. them out. So,
right. So if I have the money, well, actually, I already have a large portion of my asset in Bitcoin. I have a very good position in Bitcoin already. Right. Now, for other people, is it a good time to buy? Of course, I definitely think so. Obviously, if you got hold it for the long term, right? What I meant long is more than a year, at least more than a year, right? And you have enough emergency money, right? That you have enough money to yes, you want to buy Bitcoin, buy it and put it aside and don't think about it until after a year later. Right. The Bitcoin, it's very resilient, and it proved itself. It has proven itself to be a very resilient asset. Right. Bitcoin has gone down many times. It has lost more than 50% of its value multiple times. right? Even when we started our company about 2 years ago, even in 2 years period, we are seeing Bitcoin. When we started, Bitcoin was at, how much was it? Like over 10, 14, 15,000. I think when we first started, you remember, Jason?
Yes, it was around that price. Yeah.
Around there.
Yeah.
And then as it go, I think a few months later, about maybe 6, 7 months later, Bitcoin actually dropped down to like about 3,000.
Yep.
Right. And again, it started to go back up. Right. And then it went up to, and then this year it went all the way up above 10,000. And then again, it dropped to 3,800. Right. And now, and it popped back up. It's back up at 60. The last time I checked was 6,800. Now it's $6,800 a Bitcoin. Right. So Bitcoin has proven itself to be very resilient. Right. Even it goes down, gets knocked down by other people, knocked down by the government, knocked down by this pandemic, it comes back up. Okay, it seems like it's on a horse that's keep on riding. If you knock it down, it brushes itself off and get back on the horse and start riding. Right, that's how I feel about Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. So does that answer your question, James?
It does. Yeah, it does. It's very, very interesting. I mean, like what you said before, Jen, it's kind of par for the course. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up and goes down. This whole coronavirus, COVID-19, no one knows the exact outcome or result of all this, but this is an absolute game changer. Like the game will be changed permanently moving forward across the board, all aspects of life, all industries. There were so many takeaways from this pandemic. I watched this thing from Bill Gates last night. It was very eerie. I would encourage you guys all to give it a shot, check it out. It's probably trending on YouTube or something. But a couple years ago, Bill Gates was saying, we are so underprepared for a global pandemic. You know, we spend all this money into defense, Department of Defense, missiles, nuclear capabilities, all this. But we are, if there's any, he said, it's eerie, you know, if there's anything that's going to wipe out 10 million people or something, it's going to be a highly contagious viral pandemic. He called it, man. Like there's people who are ahead of the game. There's people that are behind, and so much is going to change as a result of this moving forward. The world will never be the same, right? This might be the most dramatic thing that's happened, at least within my lifetime, with this whole coronavirus. So seize the moment, seize the day, carpe diem, whatever the expression is. You know, lots of wealth and heroes and villains will be created from this, and you know, now's the time to act.
Right. Right. And again, the new hero is zeros.
Zeros.
Hey, Jen, I want to actually circle back into about the hash power on Bitcoins. We all see actually kind of a surge in total hash rate in the network. It went from 95 million terahash back up to over 100 million now today.
Okay.
What actually we're gonna, James, if you can bring up a chart, that would be great. I also so let me take you guys back actually about last week on Tuesday, actually, when the new mining difficulty was published. The new mining difficulty actually was published and had a significant drop in mining difficulty. So as a result, all of the miners are getting, I think we calculate somewhere around 18 to 19% more in daily Bitcoins that we mine, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a great thing. So the next update is going to come in about 2 weeks or so. And this time I believe, and I bet that is going to be the reverse. The mining difficulty will increase. Now, a couple of things are going to happen, and it's going to drive the increase. One of the things obviously is, as Bitcoin price start to go up, right, more and more miners going to stop turning back on their machines. Right, so that's one factor. The second factor, which a lot of us actually may not be aware, is that BSV and BCH, what they are Bitcoin derivatives, right? BSV is Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, which is another altcoin that was hard-forked, from Bitcoin, and another one is Bitcoin Cash. So it's, the symbol is a BCH. Those two altcoins are going to have their halving event in approximately 6 to 9 days. I think BCH is scheduled to have its coin at or around April the 8th, and then BSV is 2 days after that, around that time, right? So once the halving event happens, they're going to go from 12 and a half, BCH to 6.25, right? So what they're going to do, all of a sudden, they're going to see their mining profits get slashed in half. So since they are also mining at the same algorithm, a lot of them, I would expect them to switch their mining power over to Bitcoin network. And if that happens, expect that the total network mining hash power to increase, and it's gonna actually also drive the mining difficulty increase as well.
Mm-hmm.
James, Jen.
Yeah, with the increase, of course, the price and the mining difficulty, they always correlate each other, right? So if usually the hash rate lags behind the price of Bitcoin, right? So what you saw, that drop of the last time we talked about that 15% drop in hash rate, it's because of course, probably roughly about a week after the drop in Bitcoin price. Right? So with the hash rate going up, yes, which means the Bitcoin price should be going up. All right, so the Bitcoin price should be going up, and then the hash rate will continue to go up. Now, if it goes up, if the hash rate doesn't catch up to the price or too close to the price or go up too much, then it's not worth it for a lot of miners to mine. Right? That's not profitable for a lot of miners to mine. So Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining, it has a very dynamic environment, right? Where it's a free market, right? Which means that it's the Bitcoin miners only mine obviously when it's profitable, right? So yes, if Bitcoin price can support the mining difficulty, yes, it'll continue, right? But however, if you see the Bitcoin starting to fall, then a lot of miners will start to shut down their miners in places where their electricity fee is too high for them to support mining, right? So, but the good thing about us, obviously, because we are in a very good situation because our electricity fee it's one of the lowest in the industry. So we'll be fine, and happy to see where this is gonna take us. Right.
So one quick strategy that I want to share with you guys is, Jen, you in the beginning of the podcast, you shared that we have a new website and we have some new updated hash power on all of our packages, right? Mm-hmm. And they all increase actually significantly from previous version, right? The last version. So if I can share one of the strategies, take advantage of it, because if and when the Bitcoin price actually start to increase, pricing of those hash power will be adjusted, right? It will not be as favorable as what it is actually right now. So,
right. Okay. All right. Since we're talking about just one quick thing, we're talking about Bitcoin price, and earlier, James, you're talking about there will be heroes and there will be villains, right, in this market. And yes, you're right. I totally agree, especially in an unknown market, unknown situation like what we have right now. Right, there are a lot of villains out there and trying to take advantage of people. Just a quick example. This morning when I checked my email, I got an email from Amazon. I've been ordering a lot of stuff from Amazon. So when I click on that email, it says action required, that Amazon emailed me that I have to update my payment account, or else they're gonna shut my account off. So I click on that email. about to enter in my user ID and my password, and then I realized that the URL is not an Amazon URL. And also, when I click on create account, it was a dead link. So, which means it's actually is not an email. It's a phishing email. It's just from scammers trying to phish my password, of course, for Amazon. So we have to be careful, right, with these scammers. And it just and with Bitcoin, regards to Bitcoin, I hear lots of people. We have lots of members in our company, and I talk to members every single day. I talk to members, and sometimes when our member prospect other people or tell them about our company, those prospects would tell our members that, but this other company, they do this. They have a trading bot. You can put $1,000 in this company, and you'll make $300 a day. Okay, they have these trading bots that help you make money. All right, guys, whenever you hear about a trading bot that can make money for you and give you these crazy return, like 3,000% return a year or 300% return a day, just stay away from those companies. Right? There's nothing out there. There's no company out there that can help people generate 300% return a day, or even 1% return a day. Okay, I just read this article. Actually, let me see if I can share this article. Let me see if I can share this article. Let's see where I am. Let's see right here. Share screen. Share. All right. Let me see if I can share that. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Do you see the Philippine SEC warns? Or you see something else?
Yep, I see Philippines SEC warns of international Ponzi offering 300% daily returns. Daily returns. Holy cow.
Right. All right. James, can you pull up my screen? The screen I'm sharing?
Absolutely. Got it pulled up now.
Okay, thanks. Okay. All right. So this article just came out. Right? It's Philippine. It's interesting about Philippines because I was in Philippines last year, and we have a lot of members from Philippines, of course. All right. And a lot of members are Filipinos that we have in our company, and some of them do tell me about companies or investments like what you see on my screen over here. So this article is about Philippine SEC warns about international Ponzi offering 300% daily returns. Okay, so guys, there are companies out there and people believe it. Right, 300% return a day. It's impossible. Right, like I was saying, even 1% a day, it's very, very hard to believe. If someone's offering you 300% return a day, come on, just run the other way. Okay, don't even fight with them. Just say, okay, good luck to you. Right? So during times like this, yes, guys, be careful. Right? Be careful with scams out there. Be careful, of course. Be healthy, and we'll be good.
Jen, is there a way that you can share this link with the people that are listening to our podcast right now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me see this link over here.
Yeah, the article. I mean, I want them to be able to read it for themselves.
Okay. How do I do that? You want me to share to our Telegram group or?
That would be fine too. Yeah, but I don't know if we have anybody that are not on our Telegram group.
You can put it in the Zoom chat or just directly in the YouTube or Facebook. I can put it in there.
Okay. All right. I'll put it in the Zoom chat.
Hey James, did Don send you a video that's about a minute long just earlier via Slack?
Yeah, Slack. Let me go ahead and take a look. On that note, too, on the whole be careful, guys. So my parents, they ordered a an oxygenator machine, a couple of them, as well as some medical supplies a while ago, and it said it was going to take about a month to get there off Amazon. And then it ended up showing up, and it was just a little soap dish. They basically said that the package was on its way. They were tracking it the whole time. All right, the package is on its way. That's excellent news. And then it shows up, and it's just a soap dish. It's just a scam. They're in the process of trying to get the money back. But there's a lot of people that are, if it's too good to be true, it probably is too good
It probably
to be true.
is. Absolutely. Yeah, there are a lot of these scams out there, guys. You just have to be, very careful.
Absolutely.
Right. But I do want to give one quick shout out to Amazon for doing a good job. One of the package was delivered, and it was stolen by those package thieves, those porch package thieves. It was left in my phone. So I call Amazon, or actually I chat Amazon, and no questions asked. I say, okay, sorry to hear that, and here's your total refund. So shout out to them, good job, and they got me all my refund, and no questions asked. So awesome.
Right on.
Yep. So James, whenever we are going to be finishing our podcast today, can we share the video that I asked Don to Slack you earlier?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're getting it set up right now.
This actual video will teach us, and I want to see if we can make that video available just on our YouTube channel so that people can reference it back whenever they want. What this video is actually pretty helpful, right? It kind of help us a quick way to kind of remind us of what is the best way to kind of keep ourselves safe from contracting or touching these unsanitized services or area or places that we have been to. So enjoy and watch it. I don't know if Jin, you have any other last minute information that you want to share before we play this video.
No, I'm good.
Working on getting it up here. It's a little tricky.
No worry, James. I appreciate that. We should have tell you ahead of time. This is actually it came into my feed actually kind of during this podcast. So I thought it would be helpful for everybody since we're all facing this together. I thought it would be helpful to keep everybody just safe and give them an idea of how to keep themselves safe and away from.
We should be good. Ready to watch it. You guys ready?
All right. Okay, let's do it.
All right. It might be a little bit of delay from your end, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
All right. While you're doing that, just want to full disclosure, there is no endorsement. I don't get paid from Red Bull, and then Amazon does not endorse me, so I don't get paid from Amazon either. Okay. But if they choose to.
Funny, I thought we were going to sponsor some kind of a beer today, but I see no beer, no red wines. So it's just Red Bull today.
Right. So if anyone knows any connections to those companies that want to sponsor us, hey, okay, I'm all for it.
And before we forget, actually, while James is working on playing the video for all of us, if you guys have any questions or any topics that you would like us to cover during our next podcast, please put it on the chat or send it to us. Here we go.
There it is. It's a nice little TLDR tutorials on how to disinfect yourself and disinfect your items.
That's right.
All right. All right. Let's practice safe handling.
Yep.
All right. That's all I have today.
Do we have any questions, James, by any chance?
We do. Yeah, we have a couple actually. Thank you for all the questions, everybody in the chat. We really appreciate the
Okay.
engagement since we're just getting started here with this podcast. There's a couple. There's one from Evelyn. She's just asking, is this going to affect the housing market in the same way that it did in 2010? We can start with that one.
I think it's going to be worse. Because that was the Great Recession, right? We're talking about now. Now this is, I don't know what this is going to be, right? We're still way too way early in it right now. Is it going to be the next greater recession? If it's a greater recession, yes, the market will be, the real estate market will be worse, right? We will feel it. You know, when tenants stop paying and we stop paying our mortgage, there's still, even if we don't have to pay our mortgage, like I said, there's still so much maintenance, there's so much other costs. Unless you can tell the government, say, you don't have to pay real estate tax, right? You don't have to pay all these taxes, right? If you don't have to pay this tax, we don't need to maintain. The mortgage is only 1/3 of it. If you guys know, when you pay your mortgage, your mortgage statement, look at what your escrow amount is, right? For example, for my mortgage payment, I pay about $1,900. I pay $1,900 a month for mortgage payment, and roughly 40% of that $1,900, which is about what, $700, right? $700 going into escrow, which means goes to pay for my real estate tax and insurance, right? Oh yeah, I didn't even talk about insurance earlier. So you have all that money going to tax and insurance. Your mortgage portion is only 60% of it. So even if you don't have to pay mortgage, you still gotta pay insurance and your tax. So if the tenants don't pay us, where are we gonna get that money, right? So please, yes, write to your congressman. If you can tell them that we don't have to pay. Well, this is real estate taxes actually is a local issue. All right. So if we can tell our local councilman that we don't have to pay our real estate tax, then maybe it'll help us. All right, but I don't see that happening.
Uh, I feel the same way, that I think if this thing drags on, it will be worse than the 2008 event, right? Because what at that time was, it was more geared towards people that are irresponsible and treating its real estate holdings as a ATM machine, right? And they just keep on refinancing and refinancing, getting a bigger and bigger loan so that they can pull the equity out. Eventually, it just doesn't sustain anymore. The difference, with what we have this time is, you are not immune from this pandemic. It doesn't matter who you are responsible or irresponsible, it affects you. And that is the biggest difference. So this affects everybody, versus at that time, it mostly affected people that are irresponsible. So that's the biggest difference. So I do see that if this thing gets dragged on for much longer, and it's going to be a lot worse. Everybody's going to be affected. So, for the sake of all of us, let's practice and really practice social distancing. Let's all hunker down for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks if we have to. The tighter that we are practicing it, the sooner we can get out of this situation. And that's the bottom line, right? So I really like the new quote that Jen that you're trying to share earlier. Zero is the new hero these days. Zero is the new hero. So please practice it. And James, can you please leave that video link up there? I want to, our members or our audience to be able to reference it back whenever they want. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll throw that in the YouTube and Facebook chat momentarily. Next question we have is from Raquel Ehrman. Thanks for your continued viewership, Raquel. Question: the Bitcoin mining calculators out there. Do you guys think the halving is already incorporated in those calculations?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not incorporated. The calculator is actually a up to date live calculator, so it calculates right now. All right. So no.
All right. And then we have one more question as well over on Facebook from Chana. Chana asks, is there a time frame on when you should upgrade if needed to, like before the next halving? Maybe upgrading her own package or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. Now the machine, we already have the latest machines. All of us, we were upgrading all our members to the S17 Plus. That is the most efficient mining machine that's out there right now. Now, if you were to ask, should you upgrade to more package? Like we will have the self-directed auto rebuy, so you can buy. It's kind of like a more like a compound interest, right? You can buy at a certain amount every day or every week or every month. So it's up to you. So every time auto rebuy, you get more and more hash power, and they're always the latest machine. Okay.
I think that's it. As far as questions go, if you guys have any last questions, definitely air them now. That one link, that video was actually sent to me privately from Don, so I can't share the link. Maybe they can YouTube it, the disinfecting one.
Interesting. I'll see if there's a way that we can pick up that link, and then we'll post it up on our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel, and as well as share that on our I guess other accounts. So
Okay.
Accounts. So all right.
All right. That's it for us.
All right. Gonna end it here, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for all of the sharing, all the knowledge, Jin and Jason. I learned a lot always talking to you guys. So see you next time, everyone.
Thank you.